Hi and welcome back to Glowfully by AllWhy. Today we're taking a calm, evidence-aware walk through everyday wellness, skin, hormones, self-love and seasonal food. Think of this as a grounding session, gentle, non-prescriptive and designed to help you hear what your body has been trying to tell you. So, what can you expect from this episode? Well, over the next few days on social media and the AllWhy blog, I'll be sharing these topics in bite-sized pieces. But here on Glowfully, we get to slow down and really unpack them in detail. Think of this as a deeper dive, a space to explore the full picture. Let's take a look at what this week holds for AllWhy. First up, breakouts. I know, scary. We've all had them and they are a nightmare sometimes. So in this part, we will decode skin signals by type, location, hormones, lifestyle and products, plus walk through gentle fixes. Second is cycle syncing basics. This is where we will go through your 4 inner seasons and simple ways to live in tune with shifting hormones. Third, we will talk about how wellness isn't one size fits all. We will learn about dropping comparison, honouring your rhythms, and build flexible non-negotiables that work for you. Fourth, we will talk about the topic that I think is so important when starting your healing journey, and that is how to start loving yourself. We will look at 6 practical steps, including self-talk, rituals, body respect, gratitude, boundaries, and celebration to help you start loving yourself and your life. And finally, we will discuss seasonal eating, the autumn edition. Let's talk star foods and spices that steady hormones, digestion, and immunity, all cozy and simple. So with that ahead, let's start where many of us feel it the most, our skin, because often it's the mirror that shows us what's happening inside. Stress, hormones, sleep, lifestyle, they all show up on the surface, and nothing feels more frustrating than breakouts, so let's decode them together. Every single one of us have experienced this at some point in our lives. Breakouts, pimples, spots, zits, whatever you want to call them, they can feel so frustrating. And the worst part, they always seem to pop up at the exact wrong time, right? Like the night before meeting your friends, going on a date, the morning of a big presentation. It's like your skin has a sense of humour and not a very funny one. So I want you to know, first off, that breakouts are normal. They don't make you dirty, they don't mean you're bad at skincare, and they definitely don't make you less beautiful. I know it doesn't feel that way when you're staring at a red bump in the mirror, but truly, your skin is doing its best. Breakouts are signals. They're your body's way of communicating with you. So what we're going to decode are these signals together. We'll cover how your skin type plays a role in breakouts, what different breakout locations might be telling you, the ins and outs of hormonal acne, hello chin and jawline spots, the mystery of fungal acne, which are those tiny bumps that no products seem to fix, lifestyle triggers like stress, sleep and diet, skincare mistakes that sneakily cause more harm than good, and finally, how you can support your skin gently, consistently, and without harsh fixes. So grab a cup of tea or maybe do your skincare while you listen, and hopefully you'll leave this feeling calmer and more in control of your skin. Let's start with skin types, because your natural skin type really does set the stage for what kind of breakouts you're more likely to see. There are 4 broad categories: oily, dry, combination, and sensitive. If your skin is oily, your sebaceous glands are extra active. Sebum, which is the oil your skin produces, isn't bad. In fact, it's essential. It locks in moisture and protects against bacteria and forms part of your skin barrier. But when there's too much of it, that oil mixes with dead skin cells and clogs pores. That's when you see blackheads, whiteheads, and sometimes those painful under the skin spots. Now, if you have dry skin, you might think, well, at least I don't have to deal with acne, but actually dry skin breaks out too. When your barrier is compromised, maybe from over-cleansing, cold weather, or using products that strip your skin, little cracks form. Those cracks make it easier for bacteria to get in, and sometimes your skin panics and produces more oil to compensate, which ironically causes breakouts on top of the dryness. Then combination skin is when you've got oily areas, usually around the T-zone, so your forehead, nose and chin, and dry areas, often on the cheeks. This means you're basically dealing with two skin types at once. So you might get blackheads on your nose, but dry patches on your cheeks. It's a juggling act, and trust me, I know I have combination skin. Then finally, if you have sensitive skin, it technically isn't a type, it's more of a condition, but it matters, and it matters a lot. Sensitive skin reacts quickly to fragrance, to harsh products, even to weather. Breakouts here are often due to inflammation and irritation rather than excess oil. So you can see why knowing your skin type is important, but it doesn't solve everything. If you know you're oily, you'll understand why your pores clog so fast. And if you have dry skin, you'll realize that breakouts might actually be about barrier damage, not oil. So now let's talk about something you've probably seen online, face mapping. And here's the truth, it's not an exact science. Your cheek breakout doesn't always mean your lungs are struggling or you ate too much dairy, but there are useful patterns worth noticing. For example, forehead breakouts often tie back to stress, lack of sleep, or, and this is a big one, hair products. Dry shampoo, leave-in conditioners, and oils can migrate down onto your forehead and clog pores. Fungal acne also loves to show up here, especially in humid environments. Cheek breakouts are usually contact related. Think pressing your phone against your face, sleeping on dirty pillowcases, or even touching your face during the day. City dwellers often find pollution triggers cheek congestion too. Then cheek and jawline, this is classic hormonal territory. If you notice deep, painful spots in this area, especially around your period, that's a big clue that hormones are involved. And finally, nose. The nose tends to have larger pores and more oil glands, so blackheads and congestion are very common here. So while face mapping shouldn't be taken as a diagnosis, it can be a helpful observational tool. Why not keep a little skin diary and track when and where breakouts happen? Patterns often reveal themselves. All right, it's time to zoom in on hormonal acne. This type of breakout is super common and also one of the most stubborn. It usually shows up on the chin and jawline and sometimes around the mouth. So here's what's actually happening hormonally. During the luteal phase, the week before your period, progesterone rises. This hormone increases oil production, which can clog pores more easily. Testosterone can also peak, making sebaceous glands pump out more sebum. Estrogen, which normally helps balance skin, is lower in this phase. The combination of more oil and more inflammation and less balance is the perfect storm for breakouts. Stress hormones like cortisol make things even worse. Cortisol increases oil production and slows down healing. That's why during a stressful month, you might notice breakouts are angrier or take longer to heal. So how can you support hormonal acne? Well, keeping steady blood sugar. High sugar spikes insulin, which can drive more oil production. Balanced meals help. Also, cycle syncing your skincare. Using calmer barrier supporting products during the luteal phase when you know your skin is more vulnerable. Although I personally use barrier supporting products all year round. I'm not a huge fan of switching up my products because my skin is quite sensitive. So make sure you bear in mind what your skin type needs. And finally, lifestyle support. So prioritize sleep, hydration, and stress management. It sounds basic, but your skin reflects those foundations. Next, I'd like to talk about fungal acne. And let's demystify fungal acne. Because first off, it's not really acne at all. Fungal acne is caused by yeast. This yeast naturally lives on our skin, and when it overgrows, it clogs the hair follicles and creates tiny bumps. Here's how you can tell fungal acne apart from regular acne. The bumps are small, uniform, and often itchy. They tend to appear in clusters. Forehead, chest, and back are the most common spots. Triggers for fungal acne include hot, humid weather, sweaty workouts where you don't change right away, and using heavy oils or products that feed the yeast. So if you suspect fungal acne, simplifying your routine is key. Use lightweight, non-comedogenic products, and sometimes fungal acne ingredients can help, like certain shampoos used as a mask. Though it is always best to confirm with a dermatologist. Now, let's shift to the things outside of skincare that make a big difference. Stress, sleep, diet, hydration. They are all so important. First up, stress. Cortisol doesn't just affect your mood. It literally increases oil production and slows healing. Long-term stress can disrupt other hormones too, like estrogen and progesterone. This creates ripple effects in your skin. Your sleep? Well, your skin repairs itself at night. If you're not getting enough, cell turnover slows, inflammation rises, and breakouts hang around longer. Aim for consistent, good quality sleep. And okay, here's the controversial one. Does diet cause acne? The research is mixed. Dairy and high glycemic foods may worsen breakouts for some, but not everyone. The key is tuning into your own body. Notice patterns, but don't restrict unnecessarily. Finally, hydration. Dehydrated skin isn't the same as dry skin. When you're dehydrated, your skin tries to compensate by producing more oil, which can lead to congestion. So hydration is key. Sometimes it's not your hormones or lifestyle. Sometimes it's literally the products you are using. So while all of that other stuff is important, you also need to make sure your skincare isn't a trigger. Over cleansing, heavy products, not removing SPF or makeup are 3 of the main causes. So stripping your skin of oils damages your barrier. That's over cleansing. Your skin panics and produces more oil, creating a cycle of breakouts. And as for heavy products, some creams and makeups are comedogenic, meaning they clog pores. It doesn't matter if it's natural or luxury, your skin just might not like it. And I have had to deal with this problem recently. I tried a new product and my pores, my skin, it just completely threw a hissy fit. and I am still recovering from that. But I went through each of my products and tried to work out what exactly was causing the breakouts. And finally, not removing SPF or makeup. So sunscreen and makeup left on overnight is a recipe for congestion. Always double cleanse at night if you have been wearing SPF or makeup. It doesn't have to be harsh, just thorough. Gentle, supportive fixes. What can you actually do? Well, keep the routine simple. Gentle cleanser, lightweight moisturizer, and sunscreen. Build from there if your skin feels ready. Make sure you are patient. Skin takes 4 to 6 weeks to show changes. Quick fixes usually backfire, and make sure you support from within. Prioritize balanced meals, hydration, and stress relief. Another important thing is cycle awareness. Now, not everybody tracks their cycle and not everybody has a cycle, but if you do, tracking your breakouts alongside your menstrual cycle, it gives so much clarity. And practical hygiene, making sure you change pillowcases, clean your phone screen, and wash your makeup brushes. They are so important and could be the culprit behind your breakouts. And I would like you to remember that breakouts are not a reflection of your worth. They are temporary and they can be managed. So next time you see a breakout, instead of jumping to, my skin hates me, try to shift the perspective. Breakouts are signals. They're your skin's way of saying something needs support. With time, patience, and a little detective work, you can decode those signals and give your skin what it needs. If breakouts are your skin's language, hormones are often the grammar underneath. Those jawline and chin flare-ups before your period are classic luteal phase signals. So instead of fighting your face, let's look upstream and learn to work with the cycle that shapes energy, mood, and skin all month long. You've heard me talk about it already, cycle syncing. I am so excited to talk about this in today's episode because I talk about it all the time on my socials, but it's the first time I'm talking about cycle syncing here on the podcast. This is one of those topics that completely changed the way I see my health and energy. It's not a trend, it's not a gimmick, it's a way of working with your body instead of constantly fighting against it. Now, here's the thing. For a lot of us, our introduction to our menstrual cycle was, let's be honest, not great. Maybe it was a quick chat in school. Maybe it was a pamphlet. Maybe it was nothing at all. Most of us were told, you bleed once a month, it might hurt, take a painkiller and get on with it. And that's kind of where the education stopped. But your cycle isn't just about the days you bleed. It's an entire rhythm that affects your hormones, your energy, your mood, even things like your productivity and your skin. Cycle syncing is about learning to live in tune with that rhythm. And what I want to be really clear before we dive in is that cycle syncing isn't about being perfect or following strict rules. It's not about living your whole life according to your chart. It's about awareness. It's about noticing the shifts that naturally happen in your body and gently adjusting your lifestyle, food, movement, self-care, even the way you work, so that you feel more supported, less stressed, and more in flow. So, in today's episode, we're going to break this all down in the simplest way possible. By the end, you'll understand what cycle syncing actually is, the 4 main phases of your cycle, what's happening with your hormones in each phase, how those hormones affect your energy, mood, and body, and practical ways to support yourself in each phase without pressure or overwhelm. And remember, this is just the beginning. In future episodes, we'll go deeper into each phase individually. But today, Think of this as your cycle syncing 101, the warm, welcoming introduction you wish you had years ago. Let's start with the basics. Cycle syncing is the practice of aligning your lifestyle habits with the natural rhythm of your menstrual cycle. Your cycle isn't static. It's not the same every single day of the month. Hormones like estrogen, progesterone, luteinizing hormone, and testosterone are constantly rising and falling. Those shifts affect everything. Your energy levels, how social you feel, how your skin looks, your digestion, even how much patience you have. So instead of expecting ourselves to be the same every single day, cycle syncing says, what if we flow with these natural changes instead of fighting against them? And that might look like eating warm, iron-rich foods during your period, doing more creative work when estrogen is rising in the follicular phase, planning social events when you feel magnetic during ovulation, and scheduling rest and slower routines during the luteal phase. Think of it like seasons. Just as nature has spring, summer, autumn, and winter, your body does too. Cycle syncing helps you tune into those inner seasons. Before we go phase by phase, let's quickly ground this in science, but I promise to keep it simple. The average menstrual cycle is around 28 days, but normal can be anywhere from 21 to 35 days. It's split into 4 phases. Menstrual phase, which is your bleed. Follicular phase is the build up to ovulation. The ovulation phase is the release of the egg. And the luteal phase is the time between ovulation and your next period. Here's what's happening hormonally. Estrogen rises in the follicular phase, peaks at ovulation, and then dips. Progesterone is low until after ovulation, and then rises in the luteal phase. The luteinizing hormone spikes to trigger ovulation, and testosterone, small peaks that can boost confidence and libido. These hormones don't just control fertility, they influence neurotransmitters like serotonin, energy metabolism, and even skin oil production. That's why you notice shifts in mood, energy, or breakouts across your cycle. So the 4 phases. Let's start with the menstrual phase. That's day 1 to day 5 approximately. This is your inner winter. Hormones, so estrogen and progesterone, are at their lowest. That's why energy dips and your body naturally asks for more rest. How you might feel is tired, introspective, maybe a little more sensitive. And you can support yourself with warming, iron-rich foods like soups, stews, dark leafy greens, lentils, and hydrating teas. As for movement, keep it gentle. Walking, stretching, yoga, nothing intense unless you feel like it. And it's a good time to rest, journal, reflect. Think of this as your monthly rest. Next is the follicular phase. This is approximately day 6 to day 13. Your inner spring. Estrogen is rising. FSH simulates follicles in the ovaries. And energy naturally returns. You might feel more creative, motivated, optimistic. And you should support yourself with fresh foods, salads, smoothies, lighter meals, foods rich in antioxidants and B vitamins. This is a time where you more likely would do higher energy workouts, cardio, dance, gym sessions, and it's a great time to try new projects, brainstorm ideas, socialize. Think spring. Next is the ovulatory phase. Now this is around day 14 in your 28-day cycle. This is your inner summer. Estrogen peaks, LH surges, testosterone rises. This is your most fertile phase. You will likely feel confident, magnetic, social, glowing. And this is a great time for your nutrition to be lighter and cooling foods. Fiber can help clear estrogen. As for movement, group classes, HIIT training or strength training, energy is high. Utilize it. And for self-care, have those important conversations, network, plan dates, record content, anything outward facing. It's your height of summer. Finally is the luteal phase, and this is day 15 to 28. Obviously, this is all approximate again, and it is your inner autumn. Progesterone rises, estrogen dips. Early luteal often feels focused, while late luteal can bring PMS. And you might feel productive at first, but lower energy later, more inward. You can support yourself by having complex carbs like sweet potato, oats, brown rice, magnesium-rich foods for PMS. Strength training or Pilates during the early luteal phase, and then gentler yoga or walks in the later luteal phase. Prioritize boundaries, rest, self-soothing practices. So why does all of this matter? Why not just carry on as usual? Well, because when you align with your cycle, you reduce PMS symptoms. You feel less frustrated with energy dips because you understand them. You support hormonal balance naturally and boost productivity by working with your best times for focus and creativity. You build a deeper sense of self-awareness and self-trust. It's like swimming with the current instead of against it. But I do want to pause here and say that cycle syncing is not prescriptive. Evidence is growing, but not every claim you see online is solid science. Some parts are strongly supported, like how estrogen boosts serotonin and energy, and others are more anecdotal, like always eat this exact food in your luteal. So, think of cycle syncing as a toolkit. Try small swaps, notice how you feel, and adapt it to your life. Wellness is never one size fits all. And if you're new to this, here's how to begin. Track your cycle. Apps, journals, or even a simple calendar. Note your bleed days, mood, energy. Notice patterns. Do you feel social mid-cycle, tired before your period? And write it down. Make one small swap. Maybe lighter workouts in follicular, or maybe rest during your bleed. Layer it gently. Over time, add nutrition, self-care, work-life planning around phases. It's about building awareness, not pressure. If this intro excites you and you're thinking, I want more detail, this is where my Flow ebook comes in. And yes, this is a shameless promo because my ebook, Flow, is a complete guide to cycle syncing. It takes everything I've shared today and expands it into practical step-by-step tools. It deep dives into each phase, hormones, symptoms, supportive foods, and movement. It also gives journaling prompts to help you reflect on each cycle, lifestyle swaps for energy, productivity, skin, and emotional balance, and a framework that you can revisit month after month as you learn more about your own body. I designed Flow to be like a manual guide for your hormones. Something you can highlight, scribble notes in, and come back to again and again, because learning your cycle isn't about memorizing everything at once. It's about building awareness over time, and Flow gives you a supportive, non-overwhelming way to do that exactly. So head to my website, www.byaleora.com, or on my Etsy and download Flow, the ebook, now. So that's your cycle syncing 101. Your body moves through 4 seasons every month: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. And syncing is about tuning into that rhythm. Remember, it's not about perfection. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. Just start by noticing your patterns. Awareness itself is powerful. As you feel those inner seasons, something else becomes obvious. No two cycles and no two lives are identical. That's why rigid plans crack. Wellness has to flex with your biology, your schedule, your season. So, the next thing I'd like to talk about is realizing that one size fits all is a myth, and building a version that actually fits you is important. Because let's be real, how many times have you seen a TikTok or an Instagram reel where someone has showed you their perfect routine? The 5 a.m. wake up, the celery juice, the gym workout, the meditation, the journaling, the 10-step skincare routine, and you just thought to yourself, I'm not doing any of that. And then maybe you tried it. Maybe you forced yourself to wake up earlier. Maybe you brought the supplements. Maybe you tried to copy, paste that exact structure into your life. And maybe it didn't feel good. Maybe it left you exhausted or overwhelmed or like you were failing when you couldn't keep up. That's because wellness isn't meant to look identical for everyone. It's not a formula you can copy. It is deeply individual. I know that I tried the 5 a.m. wake up. I hated it. I couldn't do it. My body didn't like it either. I just got burnt out and felt exhausted. Wellness isn't one size fits all, but it is a little bit of trial and error. It took me a long time to learn what my body and what my mind needed. So in this episode, we're going to chat about why the idea of universal wellness is flawed, how bodies, lifestyles, and needs differ and why that matters, the dangers of comparison culture in wellness, the role of trends and how to approach them without shame, practical steps to discover your version of wellness and how to make your wellness flexible, sustainable, and non-toxic. So, for starters, I think it is natural that so many of us want a clear, simple formula because wellness can feel confusing. There's so much information out there. Eat this, don't eat that, work out this way, never work out that way, drink lemon water, avoid coffee, do hot yoga, do cold plunges. No way am I getting up at 5 a.m. and no way am I cutting out my coffee. It's so overwhelming, and when we're overwhelmed, we crave certainty. We want someone to tell us, here, do this and you'll feel amazing. But the problem is that might work for them, but it might not work for you. Think about it. If you and I ate the same meals, did the same workouts, slept the same hours, we would still feel different because our bodies aren't the same. Our hormones, our genetics, our nervous system, even our personalities are different. So let's break down some of the key reasons why wellness isn't universal. For starters, hormones and cycles. Women's bodies are cyclical. We don't have consistent hormone levels every day of the month. Men, they tend to stay the same, whereas we are up, down, up, down, up, down all month long. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they all rise and fall, creating phases of higher energy, lower energy, more focus, more rest. That means what feels good in your follicular phase might be draining in your luteal phase. If you push yourself to perform at the same level every day, you're ignoring that natural rhythm, like what we just spoke about in cycle syncing. Next is genetics and biology. Some people metabolize caffeine quickly. Others feel jittery after 1 cup. Some people thrive on high-carb diets. Others feel sluggish without more protein or fats. Your genetic blueprint matters. Environment and lifestyle is another. If you live in a hot, sunny climate, your wellness habits will look naturally different from someone in a cold, rainy one. I'm from the UK. Going outside every morning and doing yoga is not the same as somebody who lives in Bali. Another example is a mother with young kids will have different needs, a different available time than a student or someone in retirement. So seasons and life stages also matter. Wellness shifts over time. What worked in your early 20s may not work in your 30s, postpartum, premenopause, or beyond. And that's not failure, that's adaptation. So that leads me into talking about comparison culture. Social media has made it so easy to compare our routines to others. And wellness influencers often show the perfect side of their lifestyle. We see the smoothie bowls, the workouts, the glowing skin, but we don't see the messy days, the skipped workouts, the takeaways, and the tired tears. So we compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. And of course we feel like we're failing. But here's the thing, her glow up isn't your glow up. Her rituals don't have to be yours. Now let's be honest. Wellness loves trend. Green juice, celery juice, 5 a.m. club, hot girl walks, cycle syncing, cold plunges. There is always a thing. Are trends bad? No. Sometimes trends can be fun, motivating, and genuinely supportive. Maybe you discover that hot girl walks actually change your mood. Amazing. But trends are not universal truths. Just because everyone on TikTok is cold plunging doesn't mean you're failing if you prefer warm baths. Just because someone swears celery juice cured everything doesn't mean it will do the same for you. Just a side note, I don't like green juice. I don't like celery juice. I am not getting up at 5 a.m. But hot girl walks, I could do. The sunshine, I can do. And a warm bath, I can do. So, if wellness isn't one size fits all, what is it? It's flexible, it's responsive, it's about self-awareness. So some practical steps that you can do to find your wellness routine is track what feels good. Notice your rhythms, release the pressure, and pick your non-negotiables. So let's go back and start with track what feels good. Notice how you feel after different foods, workouts, or routines, and write it down. When you notice your rhythms, notice, do you have high energy in the morning? Yes. Do your movement then? No. Do your movement in the evening? Sleepier and luteal phase, prioritize rest. And release the pressure. If you rest, that's okay. Missing a workout or eating pasta for dinner, that isn't failure, that's life. And life is about balance. Wellness is about balance. So picking your non-negotiables. Instead of trying to do everything, choose 2, maybe 3 small practices that anchor you. For example, drinking water, walking daily, or skincare at night. But picture this. 2 women decide to start being healthy. One wakes up at 5 a.m, goes to the gym, drinks her green smoothie, meditates, journals, and feels amazing. The other works late shifts, so she wakes up at 9, drinks coffee with breakfast, walks her dog at lunchtime, and then does yoga before she goes to bed. She feels amazing too. Both practices are wellness. Neither is wrong, they're just different. That's why copying someone else's exact structure rarely works, because your life isn't theirs. And what does lasting wellness really look like? Non-toxic. So not just your products, but also your mindset. No shame, no punishment. It's flexible. It changes with your seasons, your life stage, and your energy. It's personal. It's built around your needs, not someone else's. And it's rooted in self-respect. Because true wellness doesn't come from self-criticism. So next time you see someone's perfect routine, take what inspires you, but leave what doesn't. Wellness isn't about fitting into a box. It's about finding what works for you. Personalized wellness only sticks when it's held by self-respect, not punishment, not perfection, practice. That leads me into our next topic, self-love. Before we get into this, I'd like you to take a moment, wherever you are, to soften your shoulders, unclench your jaw, maybe even take a sip of something warm. If you're at home, light a candle or wrap yourself in a blanket. Whatever cozy looks like for you, bring it in. This topic of self-love is the thread underneath everything we do in wellness. And when I say self-love, I don't mean the glossy Pinterest quote version. I don't mean just love yourself, like it's a switch you can flick. I mean the daily, practical, slightly messy practice that actually changes how you feel in your body and in your life. Self-love is not a personality trait that you're born with or without. It's a skill. It's built through repetition, like brushing your teeth. Small choices that over time rewire how you speak to yourself, how you move, how you nourish, how you set boundaries. And because here at AllWhy, we're all about habits that feel good, not habits that feel like punishment, we'll be weaving in 2 turbo boosters for self-love: gratitude and romanticizing your life. So gratitude, that's thanking your body not for just how it looks, but for what it does. And romanticizing your life, which beneath the Instagram aesthetics is actually about slowing down enough to put meaning back into your everyday moments. Here's the first thing I want you to know. Self-love is not vanity. It's not narcissism, and it's not about being confident 24/7. Self-love is self-respect in action. It's how you fuel your body, how you let yourself rest, how you speak to yourself on the hard days. It's how you protect your time and your energy, and how you let joy exist even when things aren't perfect. Think about brushing your teeth. It's not glamorous. You don't wake up and think, wow, I love brushing my teeth, but you do it consistently over time. It changes the whole health of your mouth. And in turn, that's why we do it. That's why we like it. Self-love works in the same way. It's built in unglamorous moments, choosing water when you're parched, taking a walk when you feel stuck, saying no when you're at capacity, and adding vegetables onto your plate, letting yourself go to bed early. And here's something science tells us. Your brain is not fixed. Neuroplasticity means the way you speak to yourself, the habits you choose, the signals you give your nervous system, they rewire pathways. That's why consistent, small acts of self-love matter. They literally reshape your brain. So here are some signals that you're practicing self-love. Your inner critic might still show up, but it softens. It's nicer. You choose supportive behaviours more often than punishing ones, and you allow yourself to be human, to get it wrong, to be messy, and still be worthy. So let's start with the inner critic. Our brains have what's called a negativity bias. From an evolutionary perspective, it kept our ancestors safe. The human brain is wired to notice threats more than wins, because missing a threat could be deadly. But in modern life, this bias often turns inwards. We become our own predator, scanning for mistakes, flaws, and imperfections. Here's the truth. You don't need to erase negative thoughts. That's impossible. What you need is awareness and then a gentle reframing. So here's some steps. Step 1, catch it. For the next 3 days, keep your notes app open. And every time you notice a harsh thought, jot a word or 2 down. Mirror, missed workout, email mistake. Then, step 2, name the distortion. Most self-talk falls into categories psychologists call cognitive distortions, and common ones include all or nothing, mind reading, catastrophizing, and shoulding. So let me break that down. All or nothing is, I ate a cookie, the whole day is ruined. Mind reading is, she hasn't texted back, she must be annoyed. Catastrophizing is, I made a mistake, everything is over. And shoulding is, I should be over this already. But what we're going to do is we're going to do step 3, and we're going to talk back like a coach. So, in turn, For those distorted thoughts, you can use 3 things to take it back. You can do a reality check, common humanity, and next kind action. So a reality check is 1 cookie is a snack, not a spiral. Then common humanity is reminding yourself everyone has wobbly days. And then the next kind action is, okay, next we will do water and a protein-rich lunch. This helps reframe your thoughts from negative to positive, taking action on improving. As well as those, you can do micro practices. For example, you can swap I'm hopeless with you're learning. Speaking in second person creates distance and compassion. I mean, think of the way you would talk to a friend. If they said, I'm hopeless, you would be like, you're learning, it's okay. Then you can also try the 2% pivot. For example, what is a 2% kind of thought I can believe? These small shifts stick. Another micro practice is to do a 30-second self-compassion break. So say to yourself, this is a moment of struggle. Struggle is part of being human. May I be kind to myself right now? Awareness is step 1, and once you start catching your critic, you've already broken the automatic loop. So here are a couple journal prompts that personally I love to break down and use so that I can begin to understand where these thoughts are coming from. Ask yourself, where does my inner critic shout the loudest? What language would I never use on a friend that I use for myself? And what proof do I already have that I can handle hard things? Journaling, shadow work, gratitude are all amazing tools in wellness for your mind, your body, and your soul. Let's move to rituals. Romanticizing your life doesn't mean buying flowers for Instagram. It means savoring, deliberately noticing and extending ordinary moments so your nervous system receives safety and joy cues. It works because studies on savoring shows it counters stress reactivity. It boosts mood and trains attention to spot glimmers, those tiny little signals of safety, which regulate your nervous system. There are 3 layers to this: sensory, story, and slow. So the first layer, sensory, is engaging one's sense fully. Story is giving meaning to the moment. So for example, this coffee is my permission to start slow. And then slow is extend the beginning or the ending. So this is the peak end rule, and we remember the start and end most vividly. So here are some examples that you can apply to your everyday. In the morning, you can sip tea from your favorite mug, 3 deep breaths, and 30 seconds of sunlight. At midday, plate your food and eat the first 5 bites without your phone. Then you can take 10 minutes to walk and look at the colour you love. In the evening, set your lamps to low. Spray a lovely pillow spray. Take a stretch and write 1 line of gratitude. Then on the weekends, take yourself on a solo date. Go to the bookstore. Put a blanket in the park. Sit and be present. These little moments help you feel and be present. They help you realise and see the beauty in life. You'll start to feel more gratitude and you'll start to feel more present. But please, of course, always remember that boundaries matter. And if filming ruins the moment, don't film. And if aesthetics strain your budget, use what you have. Romanticizing is about meaning, not props. The next part of self-love that I would like to talk about is body respect. And self-love lives in behaviours. Respect is choosing partnership over punishment. And this falls into 4 main domains: nourishment, food, rest, and care. Nourishment is gentle nutrition. So add before subtracting. Balanced plates of protein, complex carbs, fats, and colour. And ask yourself, what would feel steady right now? instead of what's good or what's bad. As for movement, look at mood over metrics. Take a 10-minute walk, 3 songs of dance, 5 minutes of stretch, and appreciate how it makes you feel. Feel it in that moment. You can also do cycle-aware tweaks like we spoke about earlier in cycle syncing. The next important domain is rest. Consistent wind down time. Take a moment to dim lights, take a warm shower, have a light snack if you want, put your legs up the wall, put your device away, and make sure your body and your mind are getting rest. It's what is needed. And finally, care. Do a 3-step skincare routine. Clean your pillowcases. Do a comfort audit. Your shoes, your bras, your chairs, your mattress. Make sure your body is taken care of in those small ways. Respect is quiet and consistent care. Another important thing that you can do for self-love is gratitude and thanking your body. Gratitude is not pretending everything is fine. It's training your brain to notice what is working. And there are 2 kinds. There is global gratitude and functional body gratitude. So global gratitude is the text from a friend, the morning sunlight, the perfect song. And functional body gratitude is the legs that carry you, the skin that protected you, the heart that kept beating. And what you can do to recognize this appreciation and gratitude are things like body scans of thanks. Mirror moment, where your hand is on your heart and you talk to yourself with gratitude and love. You can also add gratitude anchors, so adding thank yous to habits. The next important one that I would like to talk about is boundaries, and boundaries are self-love. They keep your energy safe. They protect your time, your emotions, you physically. When you don't have solid boundaries set, feelings will come up as cues that you need to set them. So if you're feeling resentment, dread, or a tight chest, you may need to say no. Boundary hangovers are real and aftercare matters. If you feel overextended, take a warm shower, play some music, have a safe friend to text. And finally, celebrate. Celebration is how your brain learns to recognize progress. Without it, you only feel done. Celebrate by a nightly win log. Celebrate 3 small things that you did well that day. Add something pleasant to the end of your chores. And wear the outfit that you've been postponing for a special occasion. And if that feels cringy to you, start by noticing. Your brain still gets the reward. But I understand that self-love can be tricky. So what about when it feels impossible? If it feels fake, start neutral. I'm learning. Let actions come first and feelings follow. Reset with compassion. Guilt is your nervous system adjusting, not proof that you were wrong. And pair micro practices with habits you already do. Self-love grows through repetitions. A kinder sentence, a slower sip, a no that makes room for a bigger yes. A thank you to the body that has carried you through every season. You don't have to believe every kind thought yet. You only have to keep choosing small acts of respect. And because self-love lives in small, repeatable choices, food is a beautiful place to honour it. Nature hands us a menu each season. Autumn is grounding and warm by design. So let's lean into apples, squash, roots, seeds and spices to steady blood sugar, support hormones and keep immunity strong as the air cools. I don't know about you, but autumn is one of my favourite times of year. The air changes, it's a little crispier, the evenings come sooner, and there's that sense of winding down from the bright outward energy of summer into something a little more grounded, reflective and cosy. And as the season shifts, our bodies shift too. We often crave warmer foods, heartier meals and routines that feel more grounding. That's not random. It's your body tuning into seasonal rhythms. That's why today we're diving into seasonal eating for autumn, because nature really does give us what we need when we need it. In this episode, we will cover why seasonal eating is so supportive for wellness and hormones, the key autumn foods to focus on and what they do for your body, how those foods help balance hormones, support digestion and boost immunity, and simple ways to weave seasonal eating into daily life. No complicated rules. So let's talk autumn nourishment. Seasonal eating simply means eating foods that are naturally growing and harvested at the time of year you're in. It might sound trendy, but really it's how humans ate for thousands of years. Supermarkets giving us everything year-round is a very recent change. There are many benefits of seasonal eating. Nutrient diversity is one of these benefits. Seasonal produce is fresher, often picked at peak ripeness, so it's higher in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Seasonal eating aligns with the body's needs. In autumn, cooler weather and shorter days means our bodies need grounding, warming foods, and that's exactly what's available. Root vegetables, squash, apples, and warming spices. Seasonal eating helps hormones. Fiber-rich seasonal foods help regulate blood sugar and detoxify excess hormones, while warming herbs and seeds provide minerals for cycle balance. Not only that, but it's immune boosting. Autumn brings colds and flus. Seasonal produce like citrus and squash are packed with vitamins A, C, and zinc to strengthen immunity. And don't forget about the mind-body connection. Eating seasonally connects us back to nature's rhythm. That's grounding for the nervous system, and it helps us feel more in sync. So think of seasonal eating as a gentle way to support body and mind without adding pressure. So let's get into the star foods of autumn and how they help your wellness. First up, apples and pears. They're high in fiber and vitamin C. They help because fiber supports digestion and keeps bowel movements regular, which is essential for detoxifying excess estrogen and keeping hormones balanced. This helps stabilize blood sugar, which reduces energy crashes and PMS symptoms linked to blood sugar spikes. Not only that, but vitamin C boosts immunity. You can use them by stewing them with cinnamon for a warming snack, slice them into porridge for overnight oats, and bake with nuts and spices for desserts that are supportive, not spiking. Next up, root vegetables. Carrots, parsnips, beetroots, sweet potato, which all have nutrients like beta-carotene, which is a vitamin A precursor, potassium, and fiber. This supports skin health, the immune system, and the fiber helps gut health and steady energy release. Their earthy, grounded nature supports the body as we transition into cooler weather. Traditional Chinese medicine recommends roots in autumn, and you can use these in so many ways. You can roast with olive oil and herbs, blend into soups, and add grated beetroot or carrot to salads for colour and antioxidants. Next up, brassicas. That is broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and they are packed with nutrients. Sulfurane compounds, vitamin K, vitamin C, folate, they support liver detox pathways, crucial for metabolizing excess estrogen. This can reduce PMS symptoms, acne flare-ups, and cycle imbalances. Vitamin K supports bone strength, and vitamin C is an all-round immunity booster. Why not roast Brussels sprouts with garlic, add kale to soups and stews, and try a cabbage slaw with seeds and apple cider vinegar. Next up on this delicious list is squash and pumpkins, both packed with vitamin A, C, magnesium, and fiber. Vitamin A for skin and vision is a must-have. Vitamin C for immunity, fiber for hormone balance and digestion, and they are comforting and naturally sweet, which is a great alternative to refined sugar snacks. You can use them in pumpkin soups with turmeric and ginger, roast squash cubes with rosemary, and pumpkin puree in porridge or baking. Next up, we have nuts and seeds. Walnuts, pumpkin seeds, flax, sunflower. They are heavy with omega-3s. zinc, magnesium, and selenium. Pumpkin seeds are great for luteal phase. Zinc supports progesterone production. Flax seeds are great for fibre and support balanced estrogen, while walnuts are brilliant for brain health and omega-3s. Just sprinkle them on porridge or salads, add to smoothies, or snack on a small handful mid-afternoon. Finally, we have warming herbs and spices. I'm talking ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric. Not only do they smell amazing, but they warm the body and support digestion. They balance blood sugar, which is key for hormonal health, and they reduce inflammation. Just brew in teas with fresh ginger, add cinnamon to porridge, coffee, or stewed fruit, and use turmeric in curries, golden milk, or roasted veggies. Now, let's connect the dots. How do these foods specifically support hormone balance? Well, fibre, which is apples, seeds, and brassicas, bind and flush excess estrogen. Minerals, which is seeds and nuts, provide zinc and magnesium, which are crucial for progesterone and stress resilience. Blood sugar, so we're talking root veggies and squash, give slow carbs, reducing PMS, mood swings, and acne. For liver support, brassicas help detoxify estrogen. This is clearer skin and calmer cycles. And spices are anti-inflammatory, reducing cramps, skin inflammation, and joint pain. So by leaning into seasonal foods, you're naturally giving your body the nutrients it needs to keep hormones steadier through autumn. Now, this doesn't mean you need to overhaul everything. Try smart swaps, so replacing out-of-season berries with stewed apples or pears. One new veggie each week. Pick an autumn veg like squash and try a new recipe. Or what about soup Sundays? Batch a soup with root veggies and spice, and this creates a grounding, easy to reheat meal. Try seed sprinkling. Keep a jar of mixed seeds to throw on porridge, salads, and soups. And my favourite, a tea ritual. End the day with ginger or cinnamon tea, which will help digestion and sleep friendly. Seasonal eating isn't just about nutrients, it's also about how it makes you feel. It grounds you in the present moment, it makes cooking fun and creative, it reconnects you to traditions and cycles, and it creates rituals. Roasting squash, making soup, and baking apples. These become part of your seasonal self-care, which is as nourishing for the mind as it is the body. So seasonal eating is not about rules or restriction, it's about tuning in. In autumn, that means leaning into grounding, warming foods like apples, squash, root veggies. Foods that support digestion, balance hormones, and strengthen immunity. Exactly what our bodies need as the air cools and the seasons shift. So this week, maybe pick up a pumpkin, some apples, or a bag of Brussels sprouts. Try roasting, stewing, spicing, and see how it feels to eat with the season. Now that we have covered all of our topics that will be in this week's social posts, we can take a moment to look back at everything we have learned today. Today we have reframed breakouts as signals and met the usual suspects: oil balance, barrier health, stress, sleep, products, and hormones. Then we use cycle syncing to ride your inner seasons instead of resisting them. We released the myth of one size fits all and chose flexible, personal anchors. We turned self-love into behaviour, micro habits that you can practice without pressure. And finally, we grounded it all in autumn seasonal eating that supports hormones, digestion, and immunity. I will be back with another episode of Glowfully at the end of this week on Friday. Thank you for listening, and if today helped, the best way to support the show is to follow and leave a rating whenever you listen. Don't forget to join the AllWhy Babes community on Substack for deeper guides, resources, and weekly wellness. Plus, when you join that community, you will get exclusive wellness tips and support. Join that at byallwhy.substack.com. Explore our blog and non-toxic wellness products at www.byallwhy.com and subscribe to our mailing list for updates. If you are looking to find all of our links, type in bio.byaleora.com and that will bring up the links to everything, all in one place. And make sure you listen to Glowfully on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube and Substack. Your choice on where you want to listen. Come say hi on our socials at byaleora.com for daily tips and cozy wellness reminders. Everything we have discussed today in the podcast will be broken down into mini snippets each day on our blog, Substack, and our socials. But for now, take a breath, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and choose one tiny supportive action today. Your glow grows where your gentleness lives.